and flip this back over. All right. We should be good to go for the most part. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. We had a couple of things that happened here that are kind of unusual. We had a Zoom call over here with the model group yesterday. So a couple of these things got out of place. Talking about different products and so forth. Let's get everything kind of back where it was. And then my computer's not normally here on my stand. That's normally here on my stand isn't here. It's over at the other desk where we did the filming last night. Last night filming. And we'll go back to our regular scheduled American GI project. Well, I don't remember if you know what? I didn't seal this guy because we were waiting for his boots to dry. He was having a boot drying issue. I like this color that I'm using, but it's way too damn wet. Now that I can't find it. No, it's 3 feet from my face. That's why I can't see it. All right, let's put the glasses on again. There it is. Hidden in plain sight. Werewolf Fur by Army Painter. Lots of other colors could have worked. I just decided to, for whatever reason, to use this one. Got to use those Army Painter paints for something. I mean, I use the washes a lot, but paints not so much. I don't know what this is doing out here. I was cutting the nameplate. That's what it was. Yeah, we're all out of sorts this morning. And we are going to need a little bit of black if we are to move forward with this. That's not where those things go, man. And I picked up this whole desk, a fair amount, yesterday. Good morning, Sophia. My daughter's middle name. Would have given her to as a first name, but I didn't want people calling her Sophie. Sophie's some old British lady that eats crumpets. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that's not my daughter. Let's put this here. We're getting awfully close to the figure. I don't want to rub any of the paint off that I just did. So we're going to paint this, and then we're going to have to let this dry for a little bit, move on to the next guy. So the waiting time really keeps you from being able to finish every single person. I wish you could just finish one person before you move on to the next, but that is not the case. All right. That's going to be Wexler. Wexler, the guy that the rifle grenade dude. All right, who we got left here? We got these two guys that are repeats. We got the sniper. We got the officer calling in an artillery strike on himself. Like those two dumbasses last night. Something was wrong with the aim. I was aiming out and dropped the freaking flare right on myself and called in artillery on my dude. Yeah, this is the yoga sniper. I don't know that he has a... Does he have a jacket on? Who's this turd lip? Well, that would be you. Bye, Felicia. Okay, this guy has some different equipment. Let's go ahead and do the sniper first. Let's go ahead and just be consistent. Let's get all these regular Joes done first. It doesn't look like he has a jacket on. Well, he should. I would think they would all have overcoats on. That's what this plastic set is of guys that came in. Let's go ahead and give them an overcoat colored whatever. So we're going to use this parasite fur. Just a little bit of this. Here we got a little bit of water. Okay, good. So I went to the store. This happens frequently. Happens more and more every day. I went to the store to pick up some supplies to make that thinner. To make the thinner I've been using through the airbrush, which uses 3 products. The Viejo airbrush thinner, the Viejo Flow Aid, airbrush improver, I think is what it's called, and retarder. That's a strange sound. Let's keep making it. I hope it's not the bottle cracking. I think it's the glue on the back of this label. Anyhow, yep. And this was out in the garage. So when it gets warm, the stuff just behaves weird. So But anyhow, that's actually probably handy that this label is coming off, and I'll get to that in a second. So it uses 3 products: airbrush thinner, it uses airbrush flow improver, and it uses retarder. And I made a little bottle of it. I had a little bit of the. It's mostly airbrush flow improver. So I had an airbrush flow improver bottle like this that was down about 30%. And the formula that this guy recommended to use is 70% of that of airbrush flow improver, 30% of airbrush thinner, and then 10%. I know even though it adds up to 110%, but 10% of it in retarder, and it's worked wonderful. Not only has it worked wonderful with Vallejo paints and AK paints, it's been consistent. It works with both types of paints that I have, and I'm like, well, let me try it with craft paint, and it worked with craft paint. I airbrush for like 30 minutes, no jams. Switch the paint out 3 times, no problems. I mean, it's really pretty amazing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going all in now. So I want a container this size of that stuff. So I went to the store, figured they had Flow 8 or airbrush that. No, they don't have it in this size. Well, I'm not going to buy little bottles of this because I want this much of it. So this is about 30% airbrush thinner or so. So I'm probably going to take the flow improver and fill the rest of it up. And that's what, and then we'll peel the label off, and this is going to be, you know, the magic Kuram thing. But they don't have it. They don't have it in the store. So I go to the store to get it. They don't have it. So what I end up doing, overnight Amazoning it. You know, I mean, I don't have any other choice. I'd rather go to the store, but even if I did go to the store, I'm not going to go to 4 or 5 stores to find it and then come up empty-handed. That's bad for the environment, you know, driving around and wearing out your vehicle, tires, fuel, etc. So we're going to make a big batch of this stuff, because I'm telling you, it worked on this. It worked on folk art, and folk art's pretty thick. It worked on what's the other one? The Ceram coat or something like that. I'm truly amazed. I'm truly amazed. Here we go. Matt M. Welcome. I was just looking at DBA videos to learn and found yours and recognize you from these painting streams. Thanks for good videos. Might be nice to revisit DBA on your channel. Well, so I don't want to turn into a DBA thread because I don't play DBA anymore. I did for 18 years, so I'm sorry you found me so late. But someone's like, hey, why do we do DBA? Just getting back into it. Like, where the fuck have you been? I mean, I know that's not your story, but I've had people say that. Like, where the fuck have you been? You know, I've I stopped doing World War II stuff around 2004 when I discovered DBA. And I did DBA exclusively for 18 years because I have time to like do one thing. And I've been wanting to get back into World War II, and it just didn't work out. And but the DBA videos that we did will always stay on there until somebody pisses me off. I'm not going to take them down. I don't, you know. I mean, it's like, oh, you should do more DBA for the revenue. I don't do this for the revenue. And yeah, if revenue was important, yeah, most people watch the DBA videos. But you know, every time you make a DBA video, there's people that won't watch it, or that that will find a problem with something that we did, but they don't make their own videos, and it was just causing turmoil every time I was making it. And I don't play that game anymore, and we'll never play it again. There's many reasons why. Probably the biggest reason is that I can't get more people to play it. I can't make it to be more popular than we could do with it. Actually, the writing on the wall was when we went to Historicon, announced it for months that we were going to do that and put on games, and like nobody showed up. And that's fine. Then I'm going to do what I want to do. You know, I'm basically holding myself back from doing other things for the good of the community. And if the community, not everybody, I mean, there's some loyal people, but like, you know, at some point, I want to do what I want to do. But the DBA videos that we did on there, they're always going to be on there. Some of those people, I guess, still play DBA that are on the videos, but I'm not a technology guy. I am not a sharp guy when it comes to filming anything. That's not my expertise. And the other guys, if I could make videos, they could too. They don't want to share the love with you guys, I guess. I don't know. But they'll always stay on there. We try to do them as best we could with the knowledge that we had. So it started off like, I don't want DBA to die because I have tens of thousands of hours invested in painting these figures. That's probably not an exaggeration. I got, I don't know, 40 armies, something like that. And the armies aren't for sale. Like, oh, you're not playing DBA? Can you sell my armies? No. Unlike every rest of America, my shit's not up for sale. I but it's we try to do them the best that we could with the information that we had, and it looks like nobody's followed suit. They were fun to do. Doing the videos is not. I didn't dislike doing them. As a matter of fact, there's so many interesting things that happen throughout a game that it was a shame not to share that with other people and see the coincidences that happened right there. None of it is edited. It's not like one of those reality shows like, okay, well, we want the result to be, so let's finagle everything around and make that happen. No, what you see is what you get. And most of the games are pretty exciting. If you like that sort of thing. Some people are like, it's just not enough figures on the board. Well, go play a game that has tons of figures on the board and then is very vague anyways. They just make that game to get you to buy more of their product. But we try to do them the best that we could. And the filming of it is fun. What's not fun is I didn't want the game to die after investing all this time. And then after a while, I realized, this game is keeping me from doing other things that I really want to do. And I don't hate Phil Barker. Actually, Phil Barker's not the problem, actually. So makes sense. Just found DBA from a friend. Think revisiting it would be good once in a blue moon. If you pick it up as a one shot, help draw some folks back. Well, I can't do it. You know why? Because I said I wasn't going to play it again. And I'm a man of my word. I'm not going to do it. So the reality is that we were starting to work on things to improve the game. And it just kind of all fell into, there's lots of different things. People not showing up, people saying they were going to be there and they weren't there. I had my core 3-4 people that were always there. That wasn't the issue, but I wanted to grow. Like, I don't want to spend my whole life doing this and I step out of it and it's like nobody's running it. The guy's like running the show. Oh yeah, we're going to do all this stuff. He's never posted a single review, and none of the results from any of the tournaments. So it's like I was doing too much of the heavy lifting, and it wasn't going where it needed to go for me to be happy with it. People that we're gonna play some game and the theme was gonna be this, and people couldn't tell us until like the last moment whether or not they were gonna be able to show up. So you couldn't pre-plan everything. So everything was like chaos, and it just ended up being more of the same bullshit that I end up dealing on a daily basis at work. Maybe if I was retired and I didn't have any like annoying stresses and shit like that happen every day that are unsolvable. And I'm talking about the workplace, not my personal life. My personal life's pretty in fucking order, more than anybody that I know, really. But all those things, just like, this isn't worth it anymore. It just isn't worth it. And it was just creating a lot of frustration for me. Whereas this does not create any frustration for me. So no, well, most gamers are nomadic. They're always like, oh, let me try this new set. Oh, there's this out. Let me buy that. And then, they don't play it long enough to really, I played if you include big battle DBA games and things in our tournament, I played about 3,000 games of DBA. So I got a pretty good idea of what it's about. And what can I say? It's a great game. I mean, it's definitely challenging. But there's it ran its course. It ran its course. So if you enjoy it, by all means enjoy it. But I can't do both. And I deliberately sabotaged myself by saying I wasn't going to play it again. The same way that when I quit smoking on March 28th, 1998, I told everybody I was going to quit smoking. So that way, if I started smoking again, I'd look like a fucking jackass that was a pussy and couldn't hold up to it. And I've never smoked since. So I actually did that on purpose. I'm never going to play this fucking game again. Saying, okay, well, now I can't play it again. I like all my modern work. Well, thank you. I have a different way of operating than most people. I would play DBA and anybody new that would come, and it was so many people I would encounter that would be, this happened at least 14 times. Hey, I'm interested in DBA. I saw your videos. What are you guys playing? I said, well, we have two tournaments. We have two conventions. We live in this area. Oh, I'm also in Florida. I said, well, we have two conventions that are in the Orlando. Oh, I live in the Orlando area. I'm going to come by and, dude, we will teach you everything we know because I want to be challenged. And I think Mitch does the same way. He wants to be challenged. It's like, not like, okay, well, we got this edge on all these people. So since it's a tournament, we want to be able to win every game. And let's keep all these secrets to not tell anybody until last minute, and then we get to pull it on them, and then we win the game. That's not the way I operate. I want to just be really, there's lots of things that are uncontrollable in the game, and I don't want the understanding of the game to be one of them. There's nothing worse than having somebody come in, Alex, you got to play the game, and you just basically are just there to make the other guy feel good. Like nobody's going to want to come back. So even doing all that, putting on videos, hey, come here, we'll show you exactly what to do, and all, you still can't get, people are just, and if you don't have time to play DBA, you don't have time to play anything because it's a 1 hour game, So saying DBA causes cancer. Benjamin, what's up? No, DBA may lead to alcoholism, though. It was creating the kind of stress that I already have in my workplace, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that shit, and I'm not doing my World War II stuff at the same time. And you'd go in, you post the results, and then somebody would post on the bulletin board, "Hey, I think you that have never played the game before. Oh, I thought you did the game. I think you played this wrong." I said, "No, actually, we looked at it before, brought it up to the frequently asked questions group, and realized that's not how you play it. Well, I think you're still playing it wrong." So somebody who never played the game is like pulling lemmings off the cliff. That was probably the biggest thing. I'm like, I'm tired of defending the empire. Fuck it. Let everybody go off the fucking cliff. And make sure you land on that motherfucker right there. It's open in his mouth and has never played any game. And like that game, there's many. It's not like that's just a DBA thing. No, they're always in different things. Well, we got a lot of people on here. Jose, what's up? How much going on? Decided not to go to the local sci-fi con today. And not gonna shop for the cute girls there, huh? And instead staying home and playing 15 millimeter World War II paras. Good. I'm glad you chose that. Remember, you also said that this year you'll be having Mitch around for games of this. Well, I didn't say I was never going to have Mitch over. Mitch hasn't even come to the new house. I don't know. Maybe I'll have Mitch over and it's a different Mitch. I don't know. I think your girlfriend would be a bit mad if I went looking for cute girls, as you say. I don't know. There's some strange cats at science fiction conventions. I'm not a science fiction fan by any stretch of the imagination. Although I did finish watching the second episode of Black Mirror of the new season, and it's like lackluster. I don't know if I'd call that science fiction. There's not enough science in it really to justify as that, but anyways, please by all means enjoy the DVA videos on there, but I won't be promoting. I don't even have any of what I've started doing this year, or really last year, is started going to our model meeting, like building models. I'm only a model builder because I want to build them for war games. And the guys that are they're static builders. They go and they put it somewhere and that's fine. So there's some crossover, but there's a lot of not crossover. Like they don't do figures and stuff like that for the most part. But they're always on to me. Go to this show. Want to win awards. Go enter your stuff. I'm like, look, I'm not dying to be judged by anyone. Okay. I have tons of awards that I've won. Not a single one of them's up. They're in a box. I don't care. I don't need them to feel good about myself. And besides those awards, you just go there, you show them your thing, you have to pay an entry fee. So you're basically paying for an award that somebody else gets to design for you, even if you do win. Like, it's not important to me. It's not important to me. No modelers have shown any interest in trying wargaming. Hey, Marcus. No, and that's fine. So my war game group, none of them are interested in modeling. One guy is, but nobody's like, I talk about kits and stuff and they're like, whatever, dude, I just want to roll dice, right? And you go to the model group, none of them want to play war games. I'm not there to recruit. I'm just there to, talk about stuff. It's all good. But I'm also I'm not there to convert people. I don't need to convert anybody to wargaming, and I don't want to be converted to enter things in a model contest because I'm just not going to do it. I'm not interested in winning model awards. And why not? Well, I went to Historicon 6 years ago or something like that, and I'm like, I could use some spending money, right? Let me enter one of my DVA armies in the companion painting contest, and didn't win anything. I go by to pick it up, and the guy. I'm like, all right, where's my stuff? Let me pick it up. And the guy wanted to give me free pointers like, hey, you entered too many things. I'm like, it's a DVA army. That's too many figures. It's 12 stands. That's what it is. Well, you'd have a better chance of I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay. Like, I don't need lip from you. The guy doesn't even fucking paint. Like, go away. Bugger off. I'm fine leaving people alone, but if people get in my shit, I'm going to dish it right back to you. Was at a modelers event the other weekend showing off tabletop wargaming with a battle set in 1940s East Africa Battle of Galabat. We had a bit of interest mostly to the miniatures, but also the game. Well, that's good. I'm the mix working on my 40K miniatures along with a scale Chevy. There you go. There's most of the people that are in the model club are airplane builders. Armor is definitely number 2, but it's 1/35th scale stuff. I've done 1/35th scale stuff in the early 90s. I have 30 kits. I'd start on 29 of them and finish 2. It's just, you would encounter some kind of a problem like, oh man, do I want to make the the wheels on this armored car turn? Do I want them straight? Do I want them to be in the desert or want to be in the snow? Like, I don't know. Let me think about that. Oh, look, another kit. Let me open that one up. Like, I'm not doing that shit anymore. Like, that's like, just start painting. Just go in there and just start painting stuff. So how far did you make it, Ben, before you fell asleep? I got the computer set up there. I'll probably do another game. Although the American one didn't load up. It was the very end. It loaded up and then it was really, really slow. So, and I haven't changed anything on my computer, so I I know for a fact that when you buy a computer, it doesn't behave the same 2 years later. It's the ions or whatever don't start working as well. It uses its metabolism. I have unboxed kits as well, a plane and a Gundam. The average age of the model event was so much older than what we see at Wargaming's event. So most Wargamers are 10 years older than I am. And most of the modelers were 20 years older than I was. Yeah, that's fine. I don't mind old people. As long as I don't have to change your diaper. I think it was around when he went to refuel at the Soviet trucks. Yeah, he didn't make it. I'll try to do a little earlier today. I'm wondering if he's going to run. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do a German Soviet. Like we know that works pretty well. The Americans, maybe there's something wrong in the script of the Americans that it's not working well with it. And then, because the demo worked all right, the camera controls were a little off compared to the last time I played it. You can't find any models. You don't. Oh, they make GAZ refueling trucks. Maybe not in 15 millimeter, but they definitely make them in 20. I bet PST makes them. Although I can't really recommend PST models. They're not horrible, but they're famous for having one drawing and a shitload of arrows. So they're not for the faint of heart. Or ICM. I bet ICM makes them. But at 15, I don't know. I'm certain that they do. Panzer IV that drove through one of them. So you didn't see the part where I had the little artillery guy with a flare gun and I couldn't fire the damn flare gun. It worked pretty well. Like I know what to do. I just got to find the keys to be able to do it. And there's a lot of those where like, oh, let me direct control this guy. Oh, like that's not the right thing. Let me press this instead. But yeah, I had a little guy with a flare gun. He was the artillery guy in the demo, and he had to crawl and basically paint a target, so to speak, so the artillery could land on it. And the first guy fired it. I'm like aiming for where it goes, and something was off, where literally the paint thing went like 2 meters in front of me. I'm like, oh shit. So then, I called artillery on myself. And then it happened a second time with another guy. And then it took him forever to bleed out. He was just bleeding out there forever. But the third guy, yeah, he nailed him good. Warcammers tend to be younger and have more time to keep up with the game. I've noticed as a 32-year-old guy who plays Wargame, my local shop is mostly 40K Star Wars, which align with what you saw. Hold on a second here. By the way, can I find a monster truck? Ever seen the procedure needed when the German rocket planes had to be refueled with T-Soft and Z-Soft? Nope. It also appears QRF. Yeah, I saw that post. Literally, I was in bed. Yeah, war game things are very few. There's very few people involved in that sort of thing. And to just encounter somebody who's just nefarious, it's not likely, but You know, even I've encountered it. On one occasion, the Tiny War Games UK guy, that I had, that went on for like 13 months. I finally got it resolved okay, but he, I guess, left a lot of people in the lurch when somebody else bought his company. I found out later. I don't like most wargamers though, because most wargamers don't have don't have a good attitude. Like, I'm interested in the narrative. I mean, sure, I want to be competitive and have fun, but you encounter too many people that they're upset when they win, they're upset when they lose. They just, you know, maybe they've gotten too many participation trophies in their life. Two-part fuel was so explosive they literally had to keep the trucks about a mile apart from each other for safety, and used tons of water to wash the entire field in between refuels. Wow. Deodorant, yeah, that too. Yeah, you got to shower. I have to shower every day, minimum once a day, just for morale. Oh, I changed my shirt. Why would you want to put on a new shirt if you're not clean? Like, weird, man, weird. Weird. So, anyways, so this magic formula that I'm going to make today when I get my other thing, it even works on craft paint. It's incredible. And I ended up friending the guy on Facebook. Like, I want to keep a dialogue going with this guy, Mr. Kuram. I told him, I said, hey, your stuff even works on craft paint. I even got little squiggles. It works so well, I could probably paint with craft paint. Now, I'm not really interested in doing that, but I don't want to do terrain. I don't want to airbrush a big felt mat with the Yoho paints. I'd rather do that with craft paint. And this is what this looked like. This piece of felt. This was my tester. And I took a brown color of craft paint. It's in the garage. That's similar to my chocolate brown. I sprayed some of it on there, and then I did the white. This is folk art white on top of it, and I was able to get really small squiggles with it. And I'm probably going to move forward with it. I know this is kind of a bit red clayish, but that's what I had. And I have this one. This is similar to the snow color, the base color for the German stands. This just has white on it. I just kind of did it quickly. I mainly wanted to see if this airbrush stuff would work. The airbrush thinner would work, and it does. And and that's what it is. That it's easy to use. It's no mess, and it works on all acrylic paints. Not like, hold on, I'm using this paint. I need to use this thinner. I need to use this one with like one that works for everything. And so far, now I thinned it 50-50, maybe even a little bit more thinner than 50-50, you know, and it didn't gum up once. So, and this looks pretty decent. This looks pretty decent on the. This just has one. This is. I would add another color of it, but I don't have this color. I don't have a big sheet in this. So I didn't even add. There's this U.S. field drab that's normally in these stands as well in the basing. I would spray little patches of that also, so it's consistent with it. So you can get this in focus. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. Um, what I have is, and I laid this out yesterday because I thought the mat I had was the same color as this. Because this I actually cut out to use for terrain for DBA. But I have two of these. I have a green one. I have this one. before I got the Tiny War Games UK, I went to the fabric store, and this is like 6x9 of this. So I think today, or it might end up being tomorrow, whenever I get that airbrush thinner, I'm going to paint one side of this to be snowy steppe. So for Russia. So I'm going to use this as a base color. There's going to be quite a bit of paint on it because we need to leave some of it on there. But you know, as you can see, this is very clay dirt-ish. And the reason why I'm not going to just use it for regular steppe is because this material is great, but it's too thick to use my tree system with the washers underneath. And this is how I fold the bed sheets too. Just like whatever. What was I saying? Oh, the system with the washers underneath the tree with the magnets is too thick. You don't get enough of a grip. So like I either have to use it for the desert. Well, I don't need to use it for the desert because I got a Tiny War Game. I have 2 Tiny War Games desert sheets, which look fine. So and we'll use that. And that's 2 4x6s, so that's what, 8x6. So it's about the same size. So I'm going to use that for snow. Snow in the Ukraine. Because if there's any trees, they're in little groups and there's not very many of them. And they'd probably be dead anyways. And I don't have any dead trees now, so. Also think directly has to do with nostalgia as well. If you grew up watching Star Wars or reading early Warhammer, still be drawn to modern games and figures. Also doing the biggest crowds. If older wargame folk want to play, those are reasonable, have a lot of players. Did I manage to look at the Victrix? No. That will look really good if the other Matt you did the indication. And I was rushed doing it. And like I said, I'm willing to do that now that I feel like I have reasonable airbrush skills. I'm still handicapped compared to my hand painting, but the only reason I got into airbrushing is for speed. Like if you're going to hand paint that, like, I've looked at getting teddy bear fur, and I've looked into using the comb and all that. I'm like, my wife would be, I would be upset with myself. All those little things would be everywhere, and that's messy, and it would take forever. And the airbrushing, it probably is going to take me 4 hours to paint it, probably. But I think it'll look pretty fucking good. And it's also like, okay, well, we want to change it a little bit. Okay, add more to it. And I guess the only gripe would be is if you try to fold it, the more paint you have on there, the harder it's going to be to fold. But we're not going to like really put the paint down. It's just going to be kind of little oversprays. I think it'll be fine. I think it'll look pretty good. I think it'll look pretty good. So I would try a brown one, but I don't have it in brown. I have it in that, and I have like a very green one. So anyhow, it was worth a shot. I've had that for a couple of years. I mean, the money is spent on it. I'd rather do that than, okay, buy another one and practice on that one. Like, just use this one. And if I don't like how it turns out, well, I have the other side that's not painted. Victrix Germans. No, I didn't see it. I got to write myself a note. I've got all kinds of notes here. Victrix Germans. Are they very characterful? Characterful? Where are my other Americans? I only see like 2 of the figures here. Maybe they're outside with the other tank, or I took pictures of them. And I'm all discombobulated. I need some order. When's the wife come back? No, it's like when I had that Cromwell model Tiger. I had this Cromwell model Tiger for about 25 years. I didn't dare work on it because I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing painting wise. And I don't want to screw this beautiful thing up. And it wasn't until last year I actually painted it. And it's a beautiful model. And the thing is I was really happy with it. The thing is now I can actually do better now. Hey, it doesn't have any rust on it. We could do better than that. So hey, there's nothing that says you can't come back and tinker with it a little bit more. But yeah, with the Zimmer on, this is a thing's beautiful. Too bad it's 1/76. But I prefer 1/72. The figures are oversized. So the vehicle needs to be, equally oversized. But I sat on that for many, many years before I decided to get a crack at it. I bought that probably around 1994 from Brookhurst Hobbies when they had Cromwell stuff. The poses look good. All right. I will fire up the computer just for you. We'll look up Victrix Germans. Should still be over here in the area over here. And that's the other reason I don't do DBA. When I was doing DBA, I constantly, I gotta get these guys done by this time. I'm like, I don't do that shit anymore. I'll get things done when I'm done. If I never get the game done and Mitch never comes over to play, you know what? He's still playing every week. His own thing. Come on. They're on pre-order. Let's see what these guys are. And take my glasses off so I can see. I'm never good at these fucking bifocals. Well, that guy with the MP40 getting ready to fire, that's a good pose. Yeah, the poses look pretty good. This is the part where I say I hate Germans with the Zeltbahn covering on their helmets. I really dislike that. Even though I can do Zeltbahn now. I used to not be able to do it, but this guy's Zeltbahn's a little too bright, but I don't really like that. I'm gonna try some SS guys soon, probably. Just for this challenge of doing P dot or whatever. Let me fire this back down. Yeah, that Unteroffizier with the MP40 looked like he's like, you pop your head up, I'm gonna take it off. That's a pretty good pose. Those are malleable arms though, right? They're like 1/35 scale figures in that you could switch their arms up and stuff. I think that's the case. Yeah, waited too long. Shit happens. Loads of options. I'll tell you what, the one that I saw with those malleable things, somebody, and I forget who it is, I think it's a company called War Games Atlantic. They made some conquistadors, and I'm like, nope. Nope, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there. And as much as I would like to paint a merry band of conquistadors, a dozen or so, I don't want to have to paint 200 natives. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of, or more. And it's 28 mil. I don't have time to spend 12 hours on a figure. And that's what it would be for me. Oh, just paint them and dip them. I'm like, no, I can't spend less time on a figure that's bigger than what I already do. Like, if I'm going to spend less time on a figure, let's go 10 mil. Or, or 6. But a bigger figure that you can see better and do a more vaguish job on it, that's just not in the cards. And it wouldn't be a game that involved firearms, because I don't like games being really condensed when it comes to firearms. So you're talking about bigger figures and the ranges are shorter. It's got to be something that's not in the firearm period. It's got to be like medieval or something like that. It's got to be somewhere where there's no grenades. Because the figure is 2 inches tall and the grenade only goes 4 inches away is just like, that just doesn't jive with me. All right, I think I know what this guy's name's going to be. The sniper. And I saw that I have this name sitting around. It's going to be Sandusky. You named him after a city? I don't know. Sandusky the sniper. What would that make him? Polish? Give your guys names that you can make fun of later. That's like the one time I started reading. I don't even remember what Stephen King book it was, but I'm like, man, this guy creates a bunch of characters just to ridicule them. I don't know if that's the case in every one of his books. I've never read any of his books, but 30 years ago, I tried reading a Stephen King book and I got, I don't know, a handful of pages in. And the one thing that struck me was that he created all these characters to make fun of them. Sandusky prison? I don't know. You know more about America than I do. Your ancestors were here before my ancestors were. Sandusky. It sounds like a place in Wisconsin. Yeah, well, the game crapped out on me like it wasn't working well. I'm like, well, I might as well sign off. It showed 4 people were watching, but I think all 4 of them were asleep. I get it. It was just accompaniment. I don't want to play the video game by myself. That's stupid. And nobody gets to listen to my color commentary. Yeah, it's important to know whether or not Sandusky's a prison. If somebody says, well, hey, you want to go on a hot date in Sandusky? Say no. Could have your 3 cellmates taking a liking to you. Okay, I'm going to give this guy M43 pants. So we're going to have some green pants, just so there's something on the figure that isn't like doo-doo brown colored. think this is what we use. This is another one watery ass color. But I did this Zoom call yesterday on the meeting, and one of the guys like couldn't understand why I was using acrylic paints. And I basically said, like, look, I've been using acrylics ever since I found acrylics in the late 1980s in the hobby store of polyester made by Floqual. I've never turned back. Why would you want to pay for thinner? And I'm fine with other people wanting to do that, but I don't take very well to somebody trying to convert me. Like, I'm not going to use enamels. Now, first of all, I got too many acrylic paints, and acrylic works fine. I mean, it doesn't just, I don't see what the problem with it is. Well, it's not very durable. Well, I'm okay. I'm not doing anything to it. I don't like that. I don't like that enamel paints can be reactivated. That's like disturbing. Like you put something on top of another one and it could activate the color underneath. I'm not interested in that. That's creating me problems I don't have already. I should have said, who the fuck's using enamels these days? But even if I wanted to use enamels, I can't go to a store and pick them up. Nobody has them. I got to mail order them. So that's a pain in the ass right there. I'd miss out on all the vitamins I would lose from not being able to lick brushes too. All right, where does this shoot end? Marcus, I don't know if you're still on here. Missed you last couple days. How'd your event go? How'd the travel go? Travel was long, but event was good. Yeah, my wife flew out the same day that. Well, it seems like there's some incident that gets reported every day. Like the news has an exceptional hard on these days to report like every air crash possible. And I know why they're doing it, but um, yeah, that helicopter thing, man, that's disturbing. I saw that and I'm like, that really bothered me. But I've only been on a helicopter one time. That was enough. And you get these people that like, if they had a chance to ride in a jet, in a fighter jet, they would take up. I'd be like, no. I'd be like, make this ride stop. Nope. Don't do anything crazy. Like, nope. And then some of those same people that would be perfectly happy getting on a crazy dangerous plane, like, I don't do roller coasters. Those are dangerous. I'm like, you're a loon. By the way, I was watching one of your sessions yesterday afternoon. Have you asked about a U.S. weapon with a clip on the side? I think it might be a Johnson M1941 light machine gun. I thought about that, but I thought they were only used in the Pacific. And that does make sense. Yeah, this clown right here. This clown. It looks like it's the size of an M1 carbine. That's what it looks like. It looks like an M1 carbine with a long magazine at 90 degrees. I don't know if that's in focus. I can't see. I can't bloody see. I mean, I think you're right, but it's a god-awful figure. I may paint one of them, though. Figure with the gun and had no clue what it was. I thought they used those only in the Pacific. I'll have to look into that. You watched an old feed. Good. That means you might have a chance of passing the quiz whenever I make one out. You and Jeffrey always studying for the quiz. That's good. That's the theater where the figure is supposed to be fighting. Makes sense. It's a first for me. Yeah, it's not a very well-known weapon, but it's more well-known than an MP-41. One of the games in the video, the artillery observer, Ben, the artillery observer you missed on having his mishap, he was carrying an MP-41 and his flare pistol. Blutpanzer. What's a Blutpanzer? What is a Blutpanzer? I have a hard enough time trying to figure out what the hell a Vorpanzer is, much less a Blutpanzer. Blutpanzer sounds like a tank that's blown up. It went Blut. Blut go bang. Blood tank. I don't know. You must have watched an episode I didn't watch. The yoga sniper. Sandusky, the yoga sniper. What do you think, Marcus? You think Sandusky is reasonable for this guy? Does Sandusky sound like somebody does yoga? Somebody does yoga. Bend over, I must. I like the choice. Okay. Yeah, it can't be like, Morris. It can't be something like, a little bit more panache. And I have resisted buying those little Russian houses, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to get pulled into that. It's not time for that yet. And the only reason I'm doing that is just to paint the mat. It's just to mix it up a little bit. Oh no, I don't have any the whites out there. All right, well we'll use a different white. Yeah, I finished the day. I finished the hobby session with leaving them. Do I have a second full card? I do. Yeah, baby. And I got this apple barrel. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to use the apple barrel and Americana. We're going to try to use the non-folk art paints because I'd rather brush with the folk art. Titanium white. That sounds expensive. The little logo on the folk art looks like it's Amish or something. Like, you got any white? Yeah. The vehicle you did where you cut yourself. Oh man, I don't remember which one that was. Was that a? Oh, I'm not, I do. Okay. We guessed it would be either forever cursed or blessed with good dice rolls. It was a Valentine, wasn't it? I was there that I passed my own test. Oh, this folk art's not as good. It's more watery. I think it was a Valentine, wasn't it? It wasn't a big cut because it wasn't very memorable. I only remember big. I was getting on a trailer one time many years ago, and I ended up holding on to the headboard with one hand, and my foot slipped. And it was like an aluminum headboard, and I sliced my hand. I'm pretty sure it was my left hand, about, I guess, 3 inches. And it wasn't deep, but man, it bled so long. It didn't even hurt either. It was weird. It was weird to lose that kind of blood and you don't even feel anything. I did drive back on the interstate from my mom's house on the interstate. It's just one exit down. It's the easiest way to get to and from the bigger city. And there was a vehicle fire. I saw on the board, vehicle fire 7 miles ahead. Expect traffic or whatever. I'm like, oh crap, we're going to be here all day. And it was a full-size Toyota truck, like a Tundra, like a beefy one. I want to say it was buff colored or khaki, and it was completely engulfed in flames, like completely. Not something you see very often. Yeah, I think it was a Valentine. Sandusky the Sniper. All right, now let's go back with this. Find out about where we were. No, we were more orange than that. And this water's evaporating like crazy. A little bit more orange. The first the first big figures I saw, World War II figures I thought that looked really good, were the ones that were made, and I don't think they're in production anymore, that were made by, they were in 25 millimeter. They weren't 28, they were 25s. And it's called, I think they were called Berliner Bust. And I can't remember who the hell made them. But I'm pretty sure those guys came out just before a lot of 28 millimeter was available for World War II stuff. So they were 25s. West Wind Metals, does that sound right? Something like that. And they were like, they had, every figure was different, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think they're a little smaller though. I don't think that they're compatible with the rest of this stuff. If I remember correctly what I've heard through the grapevine. But I remember them looking pretty good. But it all depends on what you like. There's, the guy that I was doing this 20 millimeter stuff with, he liked FAA and I hated FAA, and he didn't like combat and I love combat. So, I don't like FAA's heads. We both, I think, agreed we didn't. Neither one of us liked Britannia. There he is. West Wind. They had individual heads and with a last throw of 25 millimeter. Yeah. Yeah. So I remembered correctly. Excellent. Yeah, and then the Warhammer 28 millimeter heroics come in, and then when lots of people are on the 28 millimeter bandwagon, somebody comes up with, oh yeah, we make 32 heroic. Like, okay, just stop. Okay, just stop with your 12 millimeters, your 13 and a half millimeters, 10 and three quarters. Actually, 10 it would be probably 1075, whatever. Just like my dad was into trains, and I still remember he had HO scale stuff, and he got me O scale, and I hated O scale because I would always go into stores and he never had anything for O scale. So he basically gave me something that he can't expand to it. Plus, he had that silly ass third rail in the middle, and then we lost that train set. And no, I didn't mean to lose it. I mean, it got lost on one of our moves. I think it got left in an attic. All right, it's time to paint the Springfield. No, it's not a Garand. It's Springfield. They did another range, which is large 28 millimeter for the weird World War II. 35 millimeters and U-32. Yeah, it's just, it's out of control, man. It's out of control. But I'm like, if I did aircraft, and I'm going to do aircraft, it's 1/72nd. I'm not doing one. I don't like 1/48 scale aircraft. It's neither here nor there. Doesn't go with any figure lines. Well, now they make tanks in 1/48 scale, but I ain't going there. I'm not going there. 1/72nd all the way, baby. This is small. This is like 1/76. So is this one. I don't care. I'm painting them. They're going to use with the other ones. Doesn't bother me. It's either that or throw it away. Well, I'd rather paint it than throw it away. Is this? I don't remember squeezing out the beige brown. Now this one's different. This doesn't have. I don't think the Springfield has wood over the top of it, all along the barrel, except for the back. Let's look that up before we end up making a. a mistake we don't need to make. Here we go. We can use a book that I have that I never use. Military Rifles of Two World Wars. I think I've opened this once. Green Hill books. Here's that Johnson. Yeah, they're using the Pacific. All right, let's go to the U.S. Springfield. No, it looks like it goes over the top. Okay. I made an error when I thought it would made an error. I gotta use a potty break. I'll be right back. Well, here's part of my delivery. Let's see what we got in here. Because this wasn't available in stores. Vallejo airbrush thinner. Ooh, it's so much nicer with the new labels. I don't like the new labels. And then I needed to order more of these. And by the way, this lasted me over 2 years. These 120 of them. So I ended up getting a 123 pack. Because I noticed for $1 more than the price of 120 of these, I could get 3 knives with it. All I need to do is I need to color code them. I figure that's probably a pretty good. Oh, and they each come with a blade too. So it's really a 126 piece. Ha ha! Who says I suck at math? I'll tell you what, a new package of these is heavy. Please cover the precision knife blade with protective cap after use. Kiss my ass. I will do no such thing. So what I'm probably going to do with these actually is, geez, enough packaging. I got one of these products one time and these blades were everywhere. I don't think it was this one. These have actually been good. And I wish that they made I think it's called a number, oh shit, I don't want the label to come off. They got to look at that shitty looking label the whole time. Oh, maybe this just covers the front. Yeah, they're stacked in there all together. So what I'm going to do actually with these, it's more dangerous to fool with a cover. So these actually, you can't, sometimes you can use these as a pin vise and put a really small drill bit in there. I don't think you can do that with these. But what we're going to do is we're going to add these that come in here. You can't buy everything on Amazon. I tried getting razor blades one time, like, you know, for shaving. Yeah, I got ones that were complete knockoffs. They wouldn't work. Now, this isn't as good as like an X-Acto knife brand one, but it works for what I'm using it for. I'm going to take all 3 of these off. I know, this is the original one. Yeah, and see, this is actually one that somebody gave me from work. It actually doesn't have a cruciform. It just has a slit in it. So you can only use it for a knife blade. You can't use it as a poor man's pin vise. So I'm going to take these 3 and we're going to put them here in the spares. Because I don't need them right now. All right. And we'll put this in spares too. We've still got about 10 or so blades to run through. I wanted to see if they had a number, I think it's called a number 10. It has kind of like instead of it being sharp, it has kind of like a curved blade. And I've never messed with one of those until I got one recently from the model group. Had some old stuff from an estate sale that was given to them. This stuff right here. And it's like for $1 donation, you could get this. Well, I didn't have change for it. They had 2 packs of these. So I think it was buy one, get one free for $1. So for 50 cents, you could take this. All I had was a 5, so I took these 2 packs and gave them $5. So use the rest of it for the club. Like, there you go. You donate for that. I got each one of those, and the curved blade that's in that is amazing. It's amazing. And it's also because it doesn't come to a point. It's hardy. It's less likely to snap. But, you can't get in everywhere. You can't get anywhere those work. But I was like, oh, I'll see if Nick Pro makes some of those. They don't. I'm like, all I do is make number. They might make another kind, but they don't make the ones for the big one. And this big thing, I don't even know how I got this. I can't get this thing, these jaws of death. I don't know how the hell to open this. So we've just been using this to roll out our green stuff on. That's what we've been using it. This is something I got a long time. It probably was my dad's, but they make blades for this thing, whatever size this is. But I can't get this. I have to get a vise and open this somehow. But that's the jaws of death are closed on that one. Anyhow, that's the treatment. I got airbrush thinner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this container that has maybe 40% full of airbrush thinner. Do something with about 20% of it. Fill the rest of it with Flow Aid. Leave me a little spot for retarder, and then I'll have a whole container of a Boss liquid, and I'll peel the label off. So, been really happy with that, I didn't want to make a big batch until I was believed in it, but man, I'm a disciple of whatever he's selling. That guy know that, and there may be other products that work as good as his combination, but I figured let me try it. I have these products I'm not really using, and I already have them, and I just made a little eyedropper full. But if we're gonna paint that whole mat, and I tell you what, I filled the whole reservoir with white, and I did both of those little things, and it's not a huge area, but I filled the reservoir completely full and only used half of it to do both of those mats with the white. You're not using very much paint at all. I don't have to lay it on thick. It's just going to be on top of that color, so. I know the Russian steppe is that type of a color. I figure we can darken it with some spots. We can add snow to it. I don't think it got very furry. I think it works. Well, let's look at this one, because this one's got multiple layers of paint. I don't think this got super furry. I mean, you could see that it has a texture to it. It looks like, I guess it could be grass or something. I think it looks pretty good. And that mat is a better color than this one. This is a lot more Georgia clay than that one. So it stands to reason that would look better than this. And this looks all right. This looks all right. And it just has 2 colors on it. It has a dark brown, and it has white. Both of them craft paint. Didn't jam once. Freaking crazy. Didn't jam once. But I don't have a big table to spread it out, so I think what I'm going to have to do is do it in sections. So we'll try doing that today if you guys are interested. I just do it for accompaniment. I mean, I'm like, I might as well talk to myself while I'm doing something, and there's no point in no one listening. You can work on your own. People are like, what do people do? Do they sit there and listen to you on the whole time? I said, no, they probably work on their hobby stuff. Or they go on a drive or something like that. That's what I used to do. I used to listen to talk radio, but because you just never know what's going to happen. And not that it's just something to do. You know, I'll listen to a book or something, and I'll be like, after a while, I'm like, what did I just read? I don't remembering anything. It wasn't very memorable. I should be back on in the afternoon. Got to run to the grocery store soon. Yeah, you got to time everything in that city when people don't want to be around, because it could be really inconvenient if you show up at the wrong time. You got any products that you miss not being able to get in New York? In other words, some products back home that you can't get in New York City, other than firearms, legally. Yeah, I hobby while you talk. This morning I'm cleaning flash off figures. I hate that as much as you do. Yeah, you're doing somebody else's QC. You know, I hate doing dishes, like loading the dishwasher or anything, unloading the dishwasher, especially. Actually, I just like them both. So I'll usually put like on a book or something while I'm doing that. Then I'm like, it's not so bad, you know? Something to not think about what you're doing. I'm a terrible multitasker, but this is like the hobby stuff is like the one thing I can do while I'm listening to something. You can only think of one, grits. Haven't sought it out though. I'm sure it's available somewhere. People have a love-hate relationship with grits. They really do. My family, by blood, likes grits. I mean, I never think about making them, but I like grits. Unless you make them fucking creamy, okay? Like cream of wheat, then they're Yankee grits, okay? They shouldn't be like a dessert item. This isn't cream of wheat. It's not oatmeal. It's grits. And there's nothing gross about grits. It's a corn part. It's like clean. You know what I mean? And you don't put a bunch of shit in it. You just put butter, salt. That's it. That's all you need. But I never have them. But if I'm having a traditional breakfast, absolutely. I'm a grits fan. I don't like pancakes or waffles or, well, it's not true. This one restaurant that has waffles is incredible, but that's the only exception to it. And they still have traditional breakfast along with it. Yeah, I like grits too. I really do. And the first time I had shrimp and grits, I hated it because they use those Yankee ass grits. But every time I've had it since then, it's been wonderful. So I'm glad I gave it another shot because I mean it's a shrimp thing. What's not to like about shrimp? I love shrimp. And you can eat it during Lent. My wife's doing that, and I'm like, all right, I'll do it with you. It's not a big deal. I guess there's no point in doing it then, right? If it's not a sacrifice. I'm sacrificing something for Lent. Well, if it's not a sacrifice, then you probably need to up the ante a little bit, right? Whatever. My wife's doing it. I figured, okay, well, I'm doing it. I'll go ahead and do it as well. And it's funny, went to my mom's one Friday, and she's like serving us meat a couple of weeks ago. She's like, ah, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and eat it. I'm like, you're the one that was like uber, like you gotta follow the rules and stuff, and like you're breaking them. So she didn't even ask me. She wasn't like, we got to do this. I'm like, let's just do it. F it. And I guess a long time ago, it used to be that you wouldn't eat meat on any Fridays. Is that right? I think that's correct. Like a long time ago. I mean, there's probably some people that don't eat meat on Fridays, but look, you can still eat eggs. You can still eat fish. Like, what's the big deal? Hadi Yusuf. Wave and I will sub. Sub if you want. I don't mind waving, but I'm not here to do tricks like a dog, man. I mean, you're welcome. Come on by, man. You're welcome here. One guy the other day, I'll pay you $100 to eat a cockroach. I'm like, you're at the wrong channel, dude. I don't ask you to do anything. Just come on by, hang out, behave yourself, be cool, ask appropriate questions. You know, don't do weird shit like show us your feet. No, Mitch isn't here. All right. You guys are able to turn on the internet. You're grown ups. You know how to behave. Don't make us put bullying back in schools to straighten you guys out. And my daughter says, "Oh, Dad, the bullying now is even worse." I'm like, "Why?" Now it's like all this. Oh, you can't bully people, and everybody's like acting out and everything. Oh, the bullying is worse. I'm like, okay, well, then we need to go back to traditional bullying. I mean, there's stuff you remember, like you grow up as a kid, like grow up with a kid in the United States. There is no way in hell you would catch me going to school on St. Patrick's Day not wearing a green article of clothing. That's like a death sentence. Like you're just asking for everybody to fuck with you. And I don't have an Irish bone in my body. I probably do. We're all related to each other, but at some form. But I'm not directly Irish. I don't have anything against the Irish. Just that's not my people. And I wear green on St. Patrick's Day. You better fucking believe it. Even to this day. Absolutely. I don't pinch anybody, but I'm sure as hell not wearing green. When we were in school, you wouldn't dare wear two socks of two different colors. Like there is something wrong with you. You would get an atomic wedgie in the 1980s if you wore socks of two different colors. And now people are like proud of that. I'm like, oh, I'm too OCD to be able to put up with that anyways. But I'm not a traditional OCD person, but there are some things that set me off. One thing is if you buy like a storage container, I've seen people do this all the time. They'll buy a storage container, whatever it is. If it's an igloo cooler or maybe a container to put plastic parts in or something like that, and it'll have a label, with the UPC code and everything, like 1 liter box, and it lists the dimensions and everything on there. I take that as soon as I bought it. That label comes off. Now this label doesn't come off because it tells you what this product is. Okay, but like a storage container, whatever that comes in, that label fucking comes off, and people will have they'll have something old and it'll be all like dirty and have like dirt and shit on it, and like they'll still have the label on it. I'm like, I OCD about shit like that. Like, no, that's just another sign going, hey, look at me, and you look at it, I'm like, oh, it's nothing to see here. Like, well, just take that thing off then, you know. That's probably my biggest OCD thing. I can't stand, if you bought it, take the fucking label on it. What, you want to look like you stole it or something? You're going to return it later? Did you have those basketball players like socks with the different color stripes? I did. I hope they don't make a comeback. Did you have those basketball player like socks with the different color stripes? No, those were like the 70s, the ones that go up to the knees or whatever. No, I think the only people that wear those now are like girls on kinky videos. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything else. That's it. But I remember they had those big tall socks. I didn't get to wear any of the cool clothes. My parents didn't buy me cool shit. Okay. Like I said, in the 70s, my mom dressed me. Well, didn't physically dress me, but like, you're wearing this with that. I didn't have a fucking say in it. I'm first generation, what do you call it? My parents were from another country, so like, we didn't have splurgings for things like that. But I remember the black kids. Why are you picking on black? Hey, they were the ones that did it. And there's anything wrong with it. But they had the big knee socks that go almost all the way to the knees, and they'd roll them all the way down till they were down to like their ankles, and they'd be like this little donut. I don't know why they did that, but they were busy dancing to Another One Bites the Dust. I remember when that came out. It was like 1980, 89, 79, 80, 89, 81, 79, 80, 81, when all that happened. I remember that. I didn't get to be cool like that, Things you remember, Kool-Aid, unsweetened Kool-Aid and graham crackers. I didn't get any of that stuff. Kool-Aid was like, that's paint. You don't get to drink paint. Thanks, Mom. Don't mind me. I'll be over here getting bullied. And then I have other people like they have all kinds of expensive clothes, like stuff that you'd never even consider spending, like $60 for a shirt. I'm talking like in the 80s. $60 for a fucking shirt? Like, you gotta be out of your mind to spend $60 for a fucking shirt. These people would have $60 for a shirt. And then you grow up and then you realize, you know what? You can buy that $60 equivalent shirt now. You just don't buy it off the rack at the trendiest store. You wait until it's last year's fashions or whatever. Because some things are made better. So buy the better made stuff, when it's at a TJ Maxx or a Marshalls or something like that. Use your money smart, I wasn't alone. Yeah. I didn't like being a kid. The thing I did like about being a kid is I didn't have some pussy dad that didn't let me play with toy guns and stuff like that. Like I had Army Men. I had cool toys and stuff like that. Pussy dad. But I didn't have, popular, I didn't have popular stuff like, I want those sneakers. Like I didn't even ask to want those sneakers. I wasn't going to get them, So I guess at the time it sucked, but now it's okay because it's like you learn bad habits. You learn bad habits. It's the same thing I talk about. You save all your time for this TV that's huge. You're like, man, this TV is awesome. And a week later, you're like, yep, that's my TV. You're just a human nature, just like, just forget about stuff. It's adaptability. Like, yep, that's just what it is. You just don't appreciate it anymore. It's like you go from not having any cable or anything, like, man, there's nothing to watch. There's only one channel. And then you got a million channels and there's still nothing to watch. But that's where the internet is really bad because the internet is, you get these kids. I think I was talking about this yesterday. You get these kids that never experienced the stuff that we experienced with, which was basically no social media. Like you only interact with the people that are around you. And you don't get to see all these people that live these supposed lives that aren't real. But on the internet, you turn on TikTok or whatever, and you got these guys, these influencers, that never worked a fucking day in their life, and probably never will, and people think they can be like them, and it's like consumerism to the max. And I'm not anti-consumerism, but at some point, you need to be happy with what you have, and not with what you don't. And no matter how much money or whatever you have, you're not going to have everything. And that's okay. Because that gives you something to look forward to. But if somebody just hands you everything, look, I didn't want to buy these Russian howls or whatever. Like, give me, I mean, I don't care they're on sale and maybe they're not available. I was invoking the spirit of Jeffrey, and I'm like, oh no, the FOMO was going to get me. I'm like, I don't care if the Pegasus houses aren't available later. I'm not going to buy them now. I've got too many things going on. I already have this mat. I'm looking forward to spraying that. I've already spent the money on it. I'm not doing anything with it the way it is. Let's make it something usable. Not like, hey, let's get involved in something else that I'm not already involved in. I got lots of stuff to work on. Let me just be happy with the stuff I have to work on. So I sometimes fall off the wagon and end up buying things, but I try to at least be conscious of that. There's this guy, and I don't know what the name of his YouTube channel is, and I don't really know what his content is, even though I'm subscribed to his channel. And it's something midlife crisis or something in it, or whatever. Something modeler's midlife crisis. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's a nice guy. I don't know. I am subscribed to his channel, I guess, because I keep getting updates. But he has a video coming out, I swear, like multiple times a week, where he claims to spend a lot of money buying kits. And it's just like, that's exhausting. That's exhausting having that much stuff. As you got to be careful, because you end up having too much stuff and it doesn't make you happy. And it just gets in your way. And I had to sound like a minimalist, but more isn't always better. I bought something on eBay a few weeks back. Now I get a couple of emails a day on items asking for a bid or stating that it's almost sold out. Don't like that. Yeah. Or I look at an item. Hey, this guy just dropped this price $7. I'm like, it's still too much money. I'm like, I love looking at things. Even putting in my cart. Like, oh, that felt good. Now, what am I going to do with it if it appeared magically tomorrow? Well, I do a cool unboxing video, and then it would just sit there. So why am I even getting this now? Yeah. And why am I able to fight back those urges? Because I've fallen for them before and felt like, I wish I hadn't gotten this. Like, I was at the armor show where I went and took the video out. I'm like, let me go check out. There's a hobby store at Daytona. So I go over to Daytona, and they have a fair number of 1/72 scale stuff. Some things I wouldn't mind having. But at $20 a piece, I don't feel like buying them. If they were 8, I'd buy every one of them. But at $20 a piece, I don't feel like I need to buy a single one. I don't want them bad enough. And I guess I can do that because I have enough stuff that I'm happy to work on. If I didn't have anything to work on, yeah, I probably would have bought one. He does do unboxing and building videos too. Okay, so you know who I'm talking about. The guy's got a spending problem. You do whatever the hell you want with money. There's definitely, even if you're buying models at that rate, model building is a cheap hobby. But still, like, where do you put all that stuff? I mean, I have a lot of, I've got to do a video, and I'm going to do a video just so I can have some accompaniment. I gotta sort my sprues. I have one shelf that's nothing but extra sprues from Plastic Soldier Company, and I don't have a heart to throw them away. I don't. I may never use them, but I just can't get myself to do that. But I gotta cut some of the excess and sort them. Like, okay, these are all the Sherman parts. These are the ones for the Stuarts. These are all the freaking Martyr pieces. These are the ones for the armored cars. Like, I gotta do something with that. And it's eating at me that it's just there's a drawer there that's just I can't use it for something else. You got some Strelitz kits for $10 a box. Yeah, there you go. See you all later. All right, man. I hope you're on later. Yeah, so you know who I'm talking about, Jeffrey. All I do is in the subject line, it says how many kits he bought and how much he paid for them. And I'm like, fuck, this guy's spending a lot of money. It's like something in the midlife crisis or something like that. You do watch a lot of videos. I thought you just watched my channel. Good for you. You don't need TV. There's great stuff on YouTube. And I'm not talking about this junk I do. I'm talking about there's some, well, not everything I do is junk, but we're just hanging out right now. There's some great free stuff on the internet. Well, it's not free. You're still paying for your service, your internet, one way or another. Okay. Let's do the fleshy bits. Yeah, that guy's got videos that come up all the time. I'm like, I guess you can do whatever you. I actually don't have a problem with people buying things and building them and then just setting them aside because you're getting something out of it. But just buying stuff just to buy things, that's like, I wouldn't want to do that. But I enjoy painting things that are already built. I enjoy building things and then painting them. I enjoy getting broken tanks, painting them, you know. I don't like to buy things when things aren't pro sale. There was a guy at this model meeting, this model show I went to, and they have one actually close by, but it's next weekend, and we're going to be out of town next weekend. We're going up to Jacksonville for the weekend, so I won't be. It's in the opposite direction where this model show is, but a lot of stuff at the model show was priced to move. Like, that's when I want to buy it. Like, okay, I don't need anything. If I need something, like these things, I'm almost out. I got to get them. You know, it's not like, well, they're not like buy them. Try to find the best price, get them. But stuff I don't need, I'm not going to buy if you're not going to make it worth my while. I suspect that he has been made redundant or just retired and has a payout behind him, judging by how much he has spent. He does seem to be sticking to particular scales and themes, though. I suspect he has been made redundant or just retired and has a payout. Well, I love watching unboxing videos. I really do. As long as I'm interested in what the product is. I mean, how many times back in the day did you order something on a printed catalog with no pictures, going on the description that you're actually going to like what you're going to get just to see what it looks like? I've done it. And I'm usually disappointed. You're not on 24 hours a day, so I need to find alternatives. Oh, so I can improve. I can improve my 11-hour record. You know what's amazing? My voice doesn't get tired. That's actually pretty amazing because I feel like I do a fair amount of talking. You know, and I'm not internet smart enough to figure out having you guys on here and you talk as well. 'Cause I don't know how to do that. I don't. I've dabbled in Discord. I don't like Discord. I don't know how to turn it off. Like, it's like I had Discord one time on my phone and I kept getting pings from stuff I wasn't interested in. It took over. It was like not user friendly enough. I'm just not sharp enough how to do that. Not everybody, because there's some people that want me to come eat a cockroach in front of them or whatever. Like, you're preaching to the wrong crowd here. But you know, I don't want to make it sound like this is like some kind of ego trip that I'm doing this so I want to be heard. I'm just doing this to stay busy, to keep my, to stay on track. If I hadn't been filming this, I would have gone and done something else already. You know, I do this so that I'm on here, so I can accomplish things. You know, I have goals. I just don't have a mission statement. God, I hate that. Our mission statement is, oh, go fuck yourself. My mission statement, whatever. I'm not 24 hours a day. Well, I can improve that. You know, I used to love to listen to talk radio. And then it's all sports or one-sided politics. I don't want to listen to politics, but if it's balanced, I'm okay with that, right? But I don't want to listen to politics that like, yep, those guys are always scum and our guys are always good. Like, okay, bullshit. And I really don't want to listen to politics anyways, because no matter how good a job you are of selling the politics, at the end of the day, the politician's going to screw you too. The guy, the guy trying to, the guy trying to kiss the politician's ass is going to get screwed also. So you're just fooling yourself. So I don't want to have anything to do with politics or sports, which I don't give a shit. The college team here at the town, they won the national championship in basketball. I didn't know until they were playing their final game that they were doing that well. I've only been to a basketball game one time, and to be honest with you, it was a long time ago. It was in the 80s? 80s? I think it was the 80s. 80s, maybe the early 90s. And honestly, I was just watching the cheerleaders. Just saying it like it is. So I don't care about sports. So the other day when I went to the show, one of the podcasts that I listened to, Dan Carlin, which doesn't always have great stuff, but he's at least animated enough the way he talks to keep you kind of interested in. Ended up having an interview that I wasn't necessarily interested in, but it kept me kind of engaged. I've enjoyed Peter Oxley's series on Matchbox kits recently. Nostalgia. Peter Oxley. See, I never got a chance to build any Matchbox kits. I had one that was given to me. It was I want to say it was the Gnat. It was the Gnat from the Red Arrows. And I must have been close to 10 years old. And didn't have a fucking clue how to put it together or something like that. And botched it all up. And that's the only Matchbox kit I built from the... No, I take that back. I've got the German half-track. Which I guess is a B? I think it's a B. I think it's a 251 Aus B. 251 Aus B. I have that one. That's the only one. I'm not against them. They were kaplunk before. Now they're really expensive. They were kaplunk before I got involved in it. We didn't have any of the armor kits in the store. We had several Matchbox aircraft. This is in the late 80s. We had several Matchbox aircraft in the store. I really liked the Matchbox aircraft kits because on the side it would show you what the different paint schemes and decal options are in there. So like you could look at a model of the Ferry Sea Fox and go, okay, it's got the decals for this and it's got the decals for this one. I thought that was, and it had a schematic on the side, kind of what it would look like painted. I think that's super fucking cool. It's just a shame they don't make those anymore. Now, I personally mix up Airfix and Matchbox all the time. Like I'll say one and mean the other because they're both kits I never really built. And they're both British. And they're both, well, there's a lot of Airfix stuff still available, but I don't know why somebody didn't take over the Matchbox ones. I think they were pretty popular. I think they were relatively popular. I don't think any of the kits were bad. I certainly didn't hear anybody complaining about it. Everybody has nice things to say about them. They came with a little diorama set, and I had the Panzer II. It had this little wall of the building that came with it, and people had really nice things to say about it. I think they were popular. The Airfix kits I have built, that whatchamacallit, that Bofors gun, man, there's a lot of parts to that. I mean, I can handle that, but that's not something you give to a kid and expect them to put together correctly. And you gotta treat that thing like you got wet hands and you're handling paper mache kind of thing. Some of the Revell kits are Matchbox Reboxes, the Chafee Pack 37 and Prutz, 17-pounder and Long Range Desert Group, to name a few. And this was a Revell kit. But this might not be the Matchbox. This might be their own casting. This thing's beautiful. But it's almost as good as those 3D prints. This is a 3L. This is on its way to Wintergewitter. This thing's going to be... And other than that gap it has in the front, this thing's going to be... This is going to be for the 6th Panzer Division in December 1942. So that's a beautiful kit. Did it have separate link track? It might be their own. Might be their own kit. Really nice model. Nice tracks, everything about it. Yeah, maybe I'm getting it confused. I had the one set that came with the Panzer Grenadiers that I sold on eBay. I think that was the Matchbox 3L. I think that might be their own, because this isn't 176. This is 172nd. It dwarfs a Sherman. A Sherman's bigger than a Panzer III. You find the Matchbox kits vehicles easier to put together than the Airfix versions. Yeah, the Airfix versions have a lot of parts to them. I'm surprised. I had that Churchill Mark 7 that had, oh my God, those road wheels drive you bananas. And I lost the track on that, so I never built that one. I never built one. I never did find where the hell that Comet was. Remember I had that Comet that was all blown to smithereens? I never did find out where the hell that Comet was. It's here somewhere. And I still got this bag of broken shite here. I mean, this is the Airfix Panzer II, isn't it? It's got multiple colors. That's all I could salvage out of the Panzer II. Yeah, it's got multiple colors. Oh, Matchbox 1976. There you go. I gotta be careful with this guy. This guy put all kinds of shit glued in the wrong place. He's got this stuff glued on the side that's not supposed to have. I think this thing will be okay for a wreck. I got nothing to lose. I got nothing to lose. That's what I thought with that Humber, and I freaking love that Humber. That Humber wreck, man, that's one of the favorite. That's one of my favorite things I've made. This isn't it? No, this is a Sherman. It's all beat to hell. This poor thing. Falling apart, painted poorly. It's an M4A1. Turret's cracked, but all the turret pieces are here. This almost looks like one of those. You've seen that picture of that Sherman that's abandoned in one of those Pacific islands that didn't get washed up on shore. Yeah, it looks something like that. I bet I could super glue most of this together and make it. You have an engine deck back there. Here's the front part. Here's the back. I bet I could make something out of it. I got nothing to lose. And I wouldn't want to buy a new kit and wreck it, but that's definitely before after picture opportunity right there. I was just thinking, any of those bits left on the PSC sprues would be useful to make a mechanical workshop. Little bits salvaged and old parts from fuel conversions left laying around. Absolutely. Absolutely. Revell have re-released the old Matchbox kits with scenic bases as my first diorama. Huh. You found a couple of unbuilt M1340s this morning when looking for stuff to sell. They will be built eventually. I take it that's the old Eschi models? Probably, I would think. ESCI. I'm waiting for some Italian person to come on here. It's Eschi. Okay, whatever. Whatever, dude. Spell it out and don't use initials, and then we will be able to pronounce it correctly. It probably stands for 4 things. Especializzazione, istruttore, I was going to do modellisti in there somewhere, you know? My fake Italian. Spanish Italian. Spalian. Instruzione. That's the last one. The I has got to be instruzione. Oh, the SCI kits. Yep. I can't for the life of me call them Dragon. I still call them DML. And I bet that switch came when the UK let Hong Kong go back to the bad guys. That's probably when it happened. When I worked at the hobby store, it was no Dragon, it was DML. Got like a little dragon logo on there, and it may have said dragon somewhere in there, but Dragon Model Limited or something like that. That's probably what it stands for. To me, it's always DML. DML, baby. The Kong go back to the bad guys. You know what I'm talking about. I thought the British were the bad guys. Not in my book. Like I've said before, you can believe whatever you want out of Hollywood. This isn't Hollywood. United States doesn't consider Britain the bad guys. Sure, they've done unsavory things. Hell, we did it here. Not me. I wasn't here yet. I wouldn't have made treaties with people and broken them though. That's not like me. I don't do shit like that. You know, it's okay to enslave people. Just don't tell them you're going to set them free and then don't. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Is it time for the coffee number dos? I think it is, isn't it? Cafecito. No, I don't drink them cute, tiny little Cuban coffees. That's not worth my time. I drink some tea, but my favorite food group, ice. All right, so here's what we got to do. I just got a video call from my daughter. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off, take the video call with her. I'll be back on shortly. Okay? See you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.